YouTube, my name is Jake Asman. Welcome into my channel. This is the Jake Asman Show for a Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. Thanks to everyone who watched yesterday's video. I basically teed off on how big of a joke Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars are because I hated when everyone was saying, oh, Trevor Lawrence should avoid the Jets. Well, the biggest laughingstock in the NFL is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So have fun, Jacksonville. If you missed that video, it is up on the YouTube channel. Has over 5,000 views, which is a pretty significant amount of viewership compared to what we normally get for these videos. So thanks to everyone who watched that yesterday. With that being said, I want to talk Jets today in today's video. I want to specifically talk about the New York Jets defense and how they have played like a top 10 unit so far through the first 4 games of the season. And there is one guy that deserves an incredible amount of praise for that, and that is Jeff Ulbrich, the Jets defensive coordinator. Before we get to him and this Jets unit, please subscribe down below if you're a first-time viewer. If you've been here before and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe. Help this channel continue to grow. Like this video. Comment your thoughts afterwards. The like and the comment helps the channel continue to grow. I want to thank all of you who watch each and every day. With that being said, let's talk about this New York Jets defense. Of course, all the talk's going to be about Zack Wilson, and rightfully so. He had one of the better halves a Jet quarterback has ever had in recent memory this past Sunday, and we spent a lot of time on this channel talking about Zack after the game and in several videos afterwards. With that being said, though, the Jets defense, I cannot say enough positive things about what we have seen so far. Yes, they won their first game of the season on Sunday, but if you really look at each game this year, the Jets defense has come out and given the Jets a chance to compete, and in most cases has given the Jets a chance to actually win a game. Now, if you go back to just Sunday, the Jets recorded 7 sacks, had 14 QB hits during the win over the Titans. But if you go a little deeper and look at the numbers for the Jets defense through the first 4 games of the year, the Jets are 7th in yards per play, tied for 4th in sacks, 9th in pressure rate, 3rd in third down percentage, and tied for 1st in passing touchdowns allowed. They also are the 4th best defense so far in the red zone. So, look, it's a long season. I think there's going to be a couple games here where maybe the defense doesn't play as well, and that's where you hope this offense with a rookie quarterback gets better as the year goes on, so the Jets can go out there and be a very balanced team. But so far through the first 4 games, this defense has come to play. And how many of you expected that to be the case? Going into the year, I thought the Jets were actually going to be led by their offense. I was concerned about this defense when they lost Carl Lawson. That's the other thing. The Jets are doing this without arguably their best defensive player, certainly their best edge rusher in Carl Lawson. But guys on this defensive line have stepped up. Quinn Williams looks like he's an all-pro. All right, you look at what they've gotten from John Franklin Myers. He's a guy the Jets, to me, need to sign long-term. He is a true foundational player for this team. I look at a guy like Bryce Huff and what he's bringing to the table. I mean, top to bottom, the Jets are getting contributions along that defensive line. And look at what the Jets did on Sunday. How did they do that against the Titans without Lawson, without Marcus May, without Jared Davis, without Vinny Curry? The Jets are banged up, and they're finding a way to get it done. And that's why I want to talk about the job that Jets defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich has done so far. A lot of talk has been about Mike LaFleur and his job as an OC. And he's certainly going to be under the microscope as a rookie offensive coordinator with a rookie quarterback. And I've been critical at times at some of the play calling by LaFleur. But the one thing you cannot be critical about with this Jets coaching staff is that Robert Saleh hired a hell of a defensive coordinator in Jeff Ulbrich. Going into the year, if I said to you the Jets would have a top 10 defense through the first 4 games, you probably would have told me I was nuts. But Ulbrich has done a great job coaching this young defense up. He's done a great job putting his players in position to succeed. Obviously, getting a healthy, motivated CJ Mosley back has been great. He should get some consideration for comeback player of the year if he continues to have this type of season for the Jets. But Ulbrich is the guy who's done a tremendous job with this team. You look at the Jets secondary, and going into the year, we talked about how this secondary might get torched. They don't have a number 1 corner. They have a bunch of young guys out there. They cut Bless Austin. What are they doing? Well, you look at this secondary, and they have been outstanding. And really, it starts with Bryce Hall. I got some Bryce Hall stats I want to talk about here. Bryce Hall is no longer just a guy who shares a name with a famous TikToker or whatever that guy's name is. This is a guy that is a impactful cornerback who's playing like a CB1 so far through the first month of the season. Bryce Hall was targeted 9 times in this game on Sunday against Tennessee, and he allowed just 2 completions for 27 yards. He also was credited with a half a sack, and he contributed to 2 more sacks because they blitzed him off the edge, and it forced Tannehill into pressure. So you look at where the Jets are with Bryce Hall, he's allowed the fewest receiving yards of any cornerback in the NFL, anyone. And you look at just how he's played. I mean, overall, he's allowed just 7 receptions this season. No other cornerback in the NFL has allowed fewer than 10. Look, it's only a month, and there's going to be some highs and lows, I'm sure, with him. He's a second-year player, but he looks the part, man. And I think that's great coaching. I think it's a great job by Robert Saleh as well, developing this young corner group. I think it's a great job by Joe Douglas. Look, I've been critical of Joe. I think it's fair to get on him for certain aspects of this team, but I think overall he still has done a nice job. Bryce Hall was a late-round pick that the Jets took a chance on. Michael Carter in that secondary. I mean, he looks like a real player. Both Michael Carters, offense and defense, look like real players for this team. We know Zack Wilson looks like a real franchise quarterback the way he played on Sunday. I think Elijah Moore is going to be very good. Elijah Vera Tucker had his best game by far as a pro on Sunday. So, it's funny. I did a video where I was a little critical of Joe Douglas last week, and then all his rookies go out there and have that type of performance. So, obviously, long season, but the Jets defense deserves its due. They have a nice nucleus that they're putting together here, and this is without some of their key players. I think, obviously, going into the year, we all thought this offense was going to carry the Jets, and maybe it still will. I think the Jets are going to score a lot of points on Sunday in London against the Falcons. They don't have a good defense, and their cornerbacks are very suspect. So I think the Jets will move the ball again on Sunday. But if this defense continues to play the way it has, then you're going to see some head coaching consideration for Jeff Ulbrich. There's no doubt about that. And here's another stat just to kind of exemplify what we have seen so far from this Jets defensive front. The Jets had 31 sacks in 2020. In total last year, 31 sacks. Through 4 games in 2021, the Jets have 13, and they are on pace to have over 55 sacks this season. Now, last year, the Jets stunk. We all know that. But it puts in context what this team has done and just how much better coached they are because, yeah, this defense has a couple new players on it. Obviously, CJ Mosley coming back is huge. But Carl Lawson's not here right now. Vinny Curry's not here right now. Jared Davis is not here right now. So the core of this defense is very similar to the team that we saw last year. Yet the Jets are on pace to have over 55 sacks, and that's once again without arguably their best edge rusher in Carl Lawson. So they've been really well coached. Let's give Robert Saleh due credit for hiring Jeff Ulbrich. He's been the right coach at the right time for this unit so far through the first 4 games of the season. And you look up and down at this defense, there are some real players that are young, getting experience this year. Then you go into the offseason with 7 picks in the first 4 rounds, cap space. I mean, the Jets have to be putting together a roster here that should compete for the playoffs by no later than next season. Like, that's the goal here, right? This is a rebuild year, foundational building block year, and then you hit the ground running in year 2 with Zack Wilson playing like a guy that is your franchise quarterback. You get Lawson back next year. You add more pieces to this defense, and you feel really good about where the Jets are at right now. So it's amazing what one win can do to change the tenor of the team, the feel around the team. But that's why I want to bring up that it's not just this one game for the Jets defense. They played well against Carolina, held Sam Darnold and company to 3 points in the second half. They were very good, I thought, against New England. Gave the Jets a chance if Zack Wilson didn't have just an all-time bad rookie quarterback performance. And even against Denver, the Jets were in the game if they just did something on offense. You could live with giving up 26 points. You could live with it. And the Jets went out there and just obviously did nothing offensively. But this past week, pass rush was great. Secondary made plays even without Marcus May. I think you got to be very, very encouraged by what we have seen so far from this New York Jets defense. And it starts with Robert Saleh, and it starts obviously with Jeff Ulbrich, who was hired by Saleh. That looks like a home run coordinator hire for the Jets head coach. With that being said, I'm going to open it up to any comments, questions here, and let's see what you guys are thinking about this Jets team right now. What do we got here? Let's go to Jason Picker. Should I pick the Jets to win in my suicide pool? So I've been fading the Jets every week as like a reverse jinx. So I picked the Titans in my suicide pool this past week, and I've never been so happy to get eliminated from my survivor pool. You know, that's what I was willing to do to try and see the Jets get a win. No doubt about that. I think the Jets do win on Sunday. I do. I don't think Atlanta's any good. And Matt Ryan's a statue, and I think the Jets defensive line could get in there and make some plays. I see this team going out there and scoring a lot of points. I think it's a good game. I don't think the Jets are going to blow anybody out, but I do expect the Jets to win on Sunday. I do. I think it's a good matchup for them. And, you know, I like the way they played, you know, against Tennessee. I think it could carry over here going to London. John writes in, I know Blake Cashman's coming back, but I'd like to see the Jets make a move on Jalen Smith. Not against bringing him in. Just note, I do a radio show with a guy that's a huge Cowboys fan down here in Houston, and he thinks Jalen Smith's terrible. So, you know, take that information and do what you want with it. But there's a reason why he got released. Now, maybe the Jets look at it like he fits their system better. I don't know if that's a move they're going to make, but I'm certainly not against it. I'm all about adding more talent to this team. But it's not just, you know, Cashman who's going to be coming back. Obviously, Gerard Davis is coming back pretty soon as well, probably after the bye week. So you'll get him after this Falcons game in 2 weeks. So keep that in mind as well. Let's see here. Let's go to Cyber Steema. The season is following the flow of the preseason. The D was ahead of the O. Now the O is catching up. Yeah, the thing you got to remember with the offense is it's still a rookie quarterback. It's still a lot of new pieces on the offensive line. What hurt the Jets the most is that Vera Tucker got hurt over the summer. Becton got hurt over the summer. The Jets did not get the reps they needed in training camp with this new line. And when you're mixing in a rookie quarterback and a new, play caller and a bunch of new guys in this offense, it was going to take time. I think we've now, can hope and start to expect it all to come together for this offense. And the defense has got out there and they've done a nice job, making this team, compete. I think the Jets are now going to do what I thought they were going to do from the beginning. Even in losses, they're going to compete and be a competitive team. Jake, do you think the Jets should pursue Jalen Smith and Gilmore? Just hit on on Smith. Gilmore, I don't think they're going to do it. He doesn't fit the timeline for what the Jets need right now. He's 31, 32 years old. He's going to try and sign with a contending team. Gilmore doesn't make a lot of sense for the Jets. Now, if they did it, am I going to be upset? No. Just doesn't seem like a move that fits the timeline where the Jets are as an organization. And once again, I obviously you could use more cornerbacks. You could use better players, but the Jets corners have been good. They really have been. I've been very impressed with the Jets defensive corners. I mean, look at some of these guys making plays for this team. I just went through Bryce Hall, but look how good Brandon Echols has been. And look how good, Guidry has been in the slot. Isaiah Dunn has made some plays. Michael Carter, too. I mean, both Michael Carters, Joe Douglas, nailing those picks, it looks like. So, very encouraging signs with the secondary. Ashton Davis, will he be part of the rotation? Yes, Ashton Davis is going to play. The Jets like him. I think Ulbrich can get more out of him than what we saw last year with how Greg Williams tried to deploy Ashton Davis. I think there's a strong possibility that Ashton Davis sees significant playing time and plays a lot better than he did last year. What do we got here? Eddie writes in, what's up with Mims? Got anything for us? Look, the Jets continue to say they like Denzel Mims. They view him in their long-term plans. With the way the Jets wide receivers played on Sunday, I mean, I can't argue with Mims not getting any targets. Corey Davis had a big-time game after a bad drop early and slipping on that Wilson interception. And then obviously, Elijah Moore's going to be coming back from concussion protocol, and we all want to see him play. And Crowder, I mean, look, Jamison Crowder is a big-time playmaker. We saw that. And Keelan Cole had his breakout game as a Jet. So, look, I want Mims on the field. I think he should be active regardless of what happens going forward this week. But I think the reality is the Jets just don't think Mims is as good as the other guys they have. I don't think it's any off the field issue or disciplinary thing. I think it just simply comes down to the fact they think the guys they are playing in front of Mims are better players. We can agree or disagree. The bottom line is, if the Jets win games, I'm not going to complain about Denzel Mims. I'm going to watch this team as I do every week, and I want to see Zack Wilson play well. I don't care who he's throwing to, as long as guys get open and they can help this young quarterback get better. What do we got here? Would it make sense to trade May or Crowder for picks at the deadline, or just keep them to keep the team developing? Philip, I don't think they're going to trade Crowder. They redid his contract specifically to have him as a security blanket for a rookie quarterback. Now, if Elijah Moore took off, maybe you could argue, okay, Crowder is expendable, but I don't think he is. I think Zack Wilson showed you how much he likes to depend on Jamison Crowder in that game on Sunday. Keep Crowder around. You're the Jets. You can never have enough offensive talent for a rookie quarterback. Let's not fail this kid like they failed Sam Darnold. So I don't think Crowder is going anywhere. And I know everyone wants to trade May because he got this DUI, but a couple things with this DUI situation. The Jets will not have to deal with any May suspension until next year, and he's probably not going to be on the Jets next year because these DUI cases take a long time. So any NFL discipline, not going to happen until 2022, so ignore that. And then just as far as trading May, he's owed like $6 million at the time of the trade deadline. That's a hefty chunk for a team to acquire midseason. I don't see that as a move the Jets are going to make. I don't think they get a lot for Marcus May either. I think maybe you get a 4th or a 5th round pick. I mean, the team taking him on has to acquire the remainder of his salary. I just don't think you're going to get that much. You're better off just keeping Marcus May. He's still a good player, and go out there and, use Marcus May in this defense and try and win as many games as possible. The Jets aren't tanking. I don't care where they pick in the draft. Win games. We could talk about building a culture and trying to change the culture from within. It's hard to do it if you lose every week. That's just a simple fact. Like, you could talk about changing the culture, but you got to stack wins up, to show that things are changing. You got to win games. So, yeah, like if the Jets tied the Titans, could we say that's progress from where they were on Sunday, from where they had been through the first 3 games of the season? Yeah, I guess a tie would have been progress, but it would have left an empty feeling. And I think everyone's in everyone's stomach, right? It would have felt uncomfortable. Would not have been good if they tied that game. Like, if you want to show progress, you got to win games. Like, no one's asking the Jets to, be above 500 and be a playoff team this year. But you got to win some of these games. You don't want to lose every week. The messaging can get stale if you start to lose week after week after week. This young team has to experience what it takes to win. So try and win as many games as possible. And I think Marcus May obviously helps you do that. So I'm not looking to unload Marcus May at all. Garrett writes in, I think all the picks next year to go along with all the young talent, this team could be great soon. So here's the thing. Daniel Jeremiah, who I really respect, and I will definitely get on the YouTube channel at some point here. Daniel Jeremiah from the NFL Network, who was, Joe Douglas's, peer when the two were both scouts together in Baltimore. They're very good friends. He talked about the fact that if you are a Super Bowl caliber team, you need the following on your roster, like the checklist to being a great team. I want to pull up his exact tweet here so we could talk about it here on the show, as far as like what the Jets still need to do to go out there and be a championship team. The checklist for building a championship foundation. This is his opinion. I agree with it. 1, you need a franchise quarterback. 2, you need 2 pass rushers. 3, offensive playmakers. You need 3 defensive playmakers, and you need 3 quality offensive linemen. If we go through what the Jets have right now and project to where they could be by 2022, you think they have the quarterback. Time will tell, but I from day one have been a Zack Wilson believer. Look, 2 pass rushers. Carl Lawson's healthy next year. You got 1. Quinn Williams, John Franklin Myers. I think you got the pass rushers. Offensive playmakers. Corey Davis is 1. Elijah Moore should be 2. You probably need to go out there and get another offensive playmaker. Jamison Crowder is good, but to really take that next step, you probably need 1 more big-time offensive playmaker. That's where the salary cap comes in, and that's where having 7 picks in the first 4 rounds comes into play as well. And it's not just young players. Like, the Bills used their first-round pick to get Josh Allen, Stephon Gilmore. The Cardinals traded for DeAndre Hopkins. You could use your draft picks for trades for veterans that are going to help you take the next step. So if we go by Daniel Jeremiah's checklist for building a championship foundation, they need 3 offensive playmakers. I think they got 2 right now that you could truly count on. Defensive playmakers, you need 3. All right, Bryce Hall could be 1. CJ Mosley could be another. Who's that third guy? Are we going to see someone else in that secondary they bring in? Is it going to be, another linebacker they could acquire, someone they draft? So, you're still looking for another defensive playmaker. And then quality offensive linemen, I think you got at least 2. Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera-Tucker. Now, you could argue maybe Morgan Moses, but I think the Jets are still another draft with an offensive line included as one of their top picks for maybe hitting that quota. So if you go by that checklist, this team is not that far away, but then you still got to hit on picks. And obviously, at the end of the day, I've stressed this numerous times. It comes down to Zack. If Zack's good, it makes up for a lot of the other issues teams have. You're a franchise quarterback can cover mistakes you have as a team. So it's going to come down to Zack Wilson going out there and taking the next step in year 2. Let's let him get through year 1 and continue to get better. Obviously, what he did on Sunday was phenomenal, and there's going to be more games like that, I believe, going forward for this team this year. So that kind of puts in perspective the checklist on where this team is at and what they still need to do. I see Jack writes in, we still need a tight end. Yeah, Jack, no doubt, you still need a tight end. The Jets need a tight end badly. You could use the draft for that. You could use free agent for that. They had too many needs to do it all in one offseason, unfortunately. By the way, speaking of tight ends, a Joe Douglas trade that should get talked about more. He got a 4th-round pick. A 4th-round pick for Chris Herndon. Chris Herndon stinks. I don't even think he has a catch yet for the Vikings. What a trade that was by the Jets. So the Jets have pieces, and they're obviously still probably a year away from being a, quote, playoff team, but it's going to depend on the development of Zack Wilson, which is why they need to go out there and do everything possible to help him take that next step. He can't do it alone, but I think he's the guy that can take the Jets to where they want to go if the right pieces are in place. Edwin writes in, CJ Mosley, first team All-Pro, ? He's kicking ass. Your thoughts? If the season ended today, CJ Mosley would be first team All-Pro. I think that's a fact. Go look at his numbers. Go look at how he's graded out by any of the analytical sites. He's been tremendous. CJ Mosley's not going to win comeback player of the year as long as Dak Prescott stays healthy or Joe Burrow stays healthy. They'll give it to a quarterback over a linebacker. But CJ Mosley should get some consideration. I mean, how good has he been, right? I mean, look, I knew he could play. We watched how good he was week 1 of 2019. But, man, CJ Mosley is the captain of that defense. I saw a clip of CJ Mosley recognizing a Titans quick slant coming on 3rd down and changed the Jets defense out of man to zone at the very last second. Tannehill could not throw the quick slant because the Jets were in zone sitting on it, and he had to just basically take a sack because nobody was open. That's a veteran making the call at the right time. That's why CJ Mosley's here. Phenomenal to see how well he's played. And I think you give a lot of credit to what, you have seen from this coaching staff, maximizing the talent they do have. CJ Mosley is a true talent. Some of the other guys are developing into real players. And, I can't say enough good things about the way the Jets defense has been coached so far. What do we have here? D. Mars writes in, JD's been getting really lucky with these late round CBs. First Bryce Hall, now Michael Carter the second. Is it luck or is Joe Douglas actually good at his job? You know what I mean? You're not going to hit on every pick. Obviously, James Morgan didn't work out. Some of the other Jets draft picks we could certainly question. But is it luck or is Joe Douglas good at his job? I think Joe Douglas is a good GM. We know he knows how to make trades. He's fleeced Seattle. I think we're going to end up looking back at the Sam Darnold trade and going, that's a great trade. How about the trade he made, to get Chris Herndon out of here? I just talked about that. The Jets are set up for success. Now, ultimately, Douglas's tenure with the Jets will be judged on 2 things: Zack Wilson and Robert Saleh. He got to hire his own coach. He got to pick his own quarterback. If you're a general manager, unless your name's Ryan Pace with the Bears, you don't get to hire multiple coaches and pick multiple quarterbacks in the first round. It doesn't work. So Joe Douglas's time with the Jets is going to be defined by Zack Wilson and Robert Saleh. And I'll tell you what, if you're a Jet fan, did you not enjoy the hell out of Zack Wilson handling the, sorry, I was just getting a text from no, I can't even say it on there. Did you not enjoy the video of Zack Wilson Joe Douglas handing Zack Wilson the game ball afterwards? I mean, it's just outstanding. It's like the post game, victory speech. These players have bought in. It's a real positive to see where this team's at right now. So, Is Joe D getting lucky? I mean, he also might be good at his job. You're not going to hit on every pick, but he's made good trades. I think his free agent signings have been solid so far. Look, the thing you got to remember too, and I briefly talked about this with Douglas, like this Jets defense was supposed to be built through free agency this year. Yeah, they were rolling the dice with young players in the secondary, but look at this free agent class. Carl Lawson, Jared Davis, Vinny Curry. They're all not playing for this team. They're all out. I mean, two of those guys are out for the year, and this defense continues to play well. So, I mean, Douglas deserves criticism. Certainly no GM is blameless. I blame Douglas for this offensive line, but the O-line even played really well on Sunday. I mean, Zack Wilson only got sacked once. The numbers speak for themselves. So the jury's out on Douglas, but once again, he's going to be defined by Wilson and Robert Saleh first and foremost. And he's put the Jets in position now with 7 picks in the first 4 rounds in 2022 to really build up this football team, right? The Jets now are in position with multiple 1s, multiple 2s, multiple 4s to make trades, move up in the draft like they did for Tucker, trade for a veteran. They're in good shape and root like hell for Seattle to lose every single game because that will help the Jets obviously have a bigger pick. Everson writes in, I understand some of the criticism of Joe D, but man, getting a 4th for Herndon was amazing. And the 2020 class is not as bad as people are making it out to be. It's so the 2020 class is not bad, but they're all hurt right now. So is that Joe Douglas's fault? No, but we got to be patient. You can't truly evaluate a draft class till really after 3 years. You got to be patient. But I would say this. The 2020 draft class, I think, will end up being fine because I believe Mekhi Becton's going to be a Pro Bowl left tackle. Stinks that he's hurt, but when he's back, he's going to play well. And ultimately, if you end up hitting on your left tackle of the future, it's tough to call the draft a bust. Also, we're Jet fans, right? I'm assuming most of you watching this are Jet fans, right? Mike McCagnon and John Izzy, did they ever hit on first-round picks? So, that alone is an improvement. If Joe D could hit on his first-round picks, so far, Zack Wilson looking pretty good. Elijah Vera Tucker looking pretty good. So let's be patient. I think Joe Douglas is the right guy at the right time for this team, and I'm very excited about where this team's going. Jack makes the point I made earlier. AVT, 0 pressures last week against the Titans. By far and away, his best game as a pro. I just think we got to be patient with this team. This team's going to get better and better as the year goes on, and they have a very winnable game against the Falcons on Sunday. We'll talk more about that game coming up later this week, but I'll tell you this. If the Jets go into London and get to 2-3 at the bye week, how could you not have signed up for that going into the year? Now, would it have been nice to, not start 0-3? Sure. Would it have been nice to not get, embarrassed by the Pats at home week 2 in the home opener? Yeah, that sucked. But if you could get the 2-3 at the bye week, I mean, I think we all would have signed up for that. I mean, look, the Jets sucked last year. We all know it. If they get 2 wins by, early October, that's already more win, or that's already equaling the amount of wins they had all last year. So, no one's going to throw a party for the Jets if they do it. But, this team is steadily improving. I think they're properly coached. That's the biggest thing. And, you just got to be patient with where this team's at. We have preached patience, and that patience was rewarded by the way this offense played on Sunday and really the way the defense has continued to play this entire season. With that being said, I want to thank all of you who took time to watch this video either live or after the fact. My name is Jake Asman. You can subscribe to the channel right down below. Like this video. To the 115 of you watching right now, give me a thumbs up down below. And that will help this channel continue to grow. Thanks so much to everyone who took time to watch live or after the fact. Back with another video tomorrow. Jet fans, you'll like this. Matt O'Leary, who also does a Jets YouTube channel, he's going to be joining the channel tomorrow morning. We'll go live, have a Jets conversation with him. Looking forward to that and so much more. Thanks, everybody. Have a good Wednesday, and I'll talk to you soon.